Hello, everybody. I just wanted to address a question I got after last night's seminar about the different causes and their interaction and overlapping. So I think the best way to do this is going to be to compare between the causes in a craft, in an artifact, in this case we'll say a table, and a natural thing, in this case we'll say a person. But we need to make a distinction here. There is we can speak about the causes with respect to generation, in other words, with respect to the event of the things coming to be, or we can speak of the causes with respect to the thing itself. And we'll see in a moment why those are different. So let's just go through the formal cause here for a table, bringing a table into existence. The formal cause is going to be its design. All right, this will initially be a form in the mind of whoever designs it, and that design might, for instance, if it's a kit, design might be represented by a picture on a paper with instructions and all that. But at any rate, we have the design of the table from the mind of the designer. What's the material that's going to go into it for this table? Well, it's going to be pieces of wood. It might be some nails or screws. There might be glue, some wood glue there. All right, so these materials are what makes them the material for a table is that they have the right kind of material. They have the right kind of stuff to be in potency to this design. All right. Now, in their own way, they are fully formed things. So this is not formless matter we're talking about. That's why I like to use the word material rather than matter, because sometimes matter it takes on a more abstract thing. But matter is always already formed in another way. We don't have a chunk of unformed matter anywhere. So the matter that is in potency to be this table is wood, nails, glue. What's the efficient cause of the generation of the table? Okay, well, the efficient cause is going to be the carpenter, or it might be you. Okay, if this is an IKEA kit that you got, and you're at home trying to figure it out, that might be you as the efficient cause. What's the final cause? The final cause is going to be dining, visiting, it might be playing games, etc. All of these things that we do on a nice table like this. Okay, so that is those are the causes for the generation, for the bringing the table into existence. Well, let's go over here to the table as a fully formed thing. If we're coming across the table, coming up to the table and looking at it in itself already formed, what is its form, its formal cause? Well, it's still the design. It's the same design. It's been put into, it's in actuality now, whereas before it was in potentiality in these materials. It goes from being in potentiality to being in actuality. What is the material? Well, the material is still the same stuff. The matter is still there. Okay, same things we had for generation. Efficient cause. Well, efficient cause really pertains to generation. So this is also going to be the same. We're looking at the table and wondering where it came from. Why did this table come to be? Well, it's because the carpenter. Okay, what's the final cause? The final cause is also still the same. All right, so we can see for this thing that these are all still the same. Now, how about over here for a person? What is the formal cause of a person coming to be? Well, it is a human form. Okay, now the human form of the person who is coming to be is in potency. Okay, so this is potential. It's in actuality in another person, namely in the efficient causes, who are going to be, of course, the parents. Okay, so it's in actuality here, but it's in potentiality for the material, which we'll say is going to be sperm and egg. That might be a little bit simplistic. There are other factors involved there, but there we have the basics, right? Okay. How about the final cause? The final cause of the human person coming to be, the generation, is a human person in actuality. All right, so now it looks like the formal and the final cause are the same, but they're not really. They're not really, because a human person is not the same thing as a human form. A human person is a composite of form and material. Matter and form composite. All right, we can think of the form in abstraction from the particular matter here, but there's a distinction here in two ways. In one sense, there's a distinction in that the formal cause is in potentiality, and the final cause is in actuality, or going to be in actuality. Then the other distinction is that the formal cause is a form. It's an immaterial form, or a soul, really. The final cause is a composite, a whole person. All right. Okay. Now, how about the formal cause of a fully formed person? It is, again, the human form, or we should say the soul, in actuality. Okay. Now, what does it give actuality to? It gives actuality to the matter, and the matter in this case is going to be the bones, flesh, and organs that are appropriate to a human person, okay, etc. This is all the material in given actuality by this form. Efficient cause. Well, the efficient cause of a person who is fully formed is still going to be the parents. How about the final cause? Well, here there are two ways that we can think about this. In a certain sense, if we're talking about the person's nature, then the final cause of the nature is still the human person. Okay, it's a kind of self-maintenance, like the doctor healing himself, as Aristotle will say it. Okay, nature works on itself. In another way, if we're looking at the person as a person, not just in a more limited sense of their nature, then their final cause is happiness. When we look at what it means, what distinguishes a human person, it is, Aristotle will say, it is our reason, our ability really to use language, our reason, and the perfection of our ability to use reason, or rather, the highest good of anything is the perfection of what sets it apart as that thing. So that would be the perfection of our reason, and the perfection of our reason is in seeking what the way that what that leads to is happiness. That's what all men seek, Aristotle says. That's what all men seek. So our perfection is going to be in happiness. Now, for Aquinas, having the benefit of divine revelation, of course, that means union with God. Okay, so I think these are some important distinctions. I think also it's important not to try to be too precise, not to try to pin something down so precisely. There's a place for that, but I think that if we try to put everything into a category right away, then that can tend to muddy the waters. So we just need to think about what is it exactly that we're looking at the causes for. Are we looking at the causes of the coming to be of something, the generation? Are we talking about the causes of a fully formed thing? Are we talking about the causes with respect to some part of that thing? Like we were saying here at the end, the final cause of the nature of something is that form itself, that thing itself. Whereas the final cause of a person per se, their ultimate end is going to be happiness. Well, one final thing I think that we can clarify here is about the way that form works in an active way. Okay, we tend to think of form, I think, in maybe a more static way. But let's think of how it works in a more active way. So if we start with birth, okay, then we have a little person over here. And the nature, in a sense, this is a fully, or the form subsists in this person 100%. Okay, this person is 100% human. They don't become human as they grow, right? They already are a human person. But the form works on what is actually there to grow towards maturity, right? And even then, it has kind of a maintenance where I think maintenance might not be the right word, but the point here is that form and nature work in an active way, not in a static way. And the evidence of their working is their activity. The evidence of a form being there, the evidence of a human person is the activity of a person who is who is there and living and breathing and growing and speaking and living and doing all of the things that a human being does. So all of those things that we see in a material way point to the activity of that nature, of that composite person, that is that nature that is constantly working on the person. So I hope that clears up a few things. Let me know in the comments or by email if there are any additional questions. Thanks.